It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Welcome, everyone, to the Divas That Care Network. I'm your host, Amy McKenzie. And today's show, The Wow of Women, features the remarkable journeys of women whose powerful and extraordinary choices positively impact people's lives. I'm so excited to introduce our guest today. We call her Bea Danowska. And that's because I can't pronounce her first name. Maybe she will for us. Let me tell you a little bit about Bea before we bring her on. Bea is a health and wellness life coach. She's also an estate manager, C-level executive assistant. But she started her own business, Vegetable Life, and is dedicated to helping create a healthy, fit, balanced lifestyle and help people powerfully connect with their passion, which is a wonderful objective. I am so glad to have you on the show. Bea, welcome.
Thank you so much, Amy. I am really, really grateful for the invitation. I'm very much looking forward to the conversation.
Well, me too. And, you know, when people have the kind of energy that you have and the commitment to really make a difference, I find that inspiring. So let's dig in a little bit, you know, maybe just, you know, give us a little backstory on Bea, where you started life and, you know, maybe some of those challenges that you've overcome to be in a position where you can make a difference for other people. Because I know it takes homework, as I call it, to be able to turn things around. So maybe share some of your story with us.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely takes a backstory. It definitely takes an experience, and it definitely takes some hard life realizations, right? I come from Poland, and I come from the communist Poland. So I've lived quite a bit of time under the regime, where life is just restricted in many ways, and you do what people tell you to. But at the same time, I also grew up with a lot of family love. I was the first child, the first grandchild. I was spoiled rotten with love, tender care, food, attention, you name it. But because of the country, by the time I was, early 20s, and the country was what it was, with very little to offer, there's a big dream of going somewhere else. I decided I'm just going to brave it through and go to the U.S. And so I packed my little suitcase. I had $200 in my pocket, and the agent at the U.S. agency, I had to have a visa, obviously. He looked at me, he smiled, and he said, "And how do you think you'll survive on that?" I said, "Well, I don't know, but I'll figure it out." So I figured it out, and not only I survived, I actually worked most of my time in this country with billionaires. I looked at their lifestyles. I lived their lifestyles on huge estates. I flew on their private jets. I dipped my toes in that rich and famous and, mansions and affairs, you name it, all through that.
Okay, so you got to hold on for a minute. How did you go from $200 in your pocket to hanging out with billionaires? I think you skipped a step.
Well, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes some thinking, and it takes, action. So I basically started working for a private family, trying to help them organize the house. Did I have to help my resume a little bit? Yes. I'm not going to lie, I didn't, but it worked out. I knew I could do the job. That's the bottom line. I knew I wasn't,
right.
I knew I wasn't fooling anyone. I knew I can handle it. All I needed was a friend with a good resume, and it took off. I was successful doing that, and then I went to working for a company that owned a huge estate in Virginia, where I worked for about 7 years managing the action. So I've met an array of rich and famous and powerful people in business. So it's it's an incredible experience when you come from a little village in Poland with very, very humble beginnings, and you go through goals and riches, and, you know, there is no budget to a life kind of situation. It is mind-boggling, and it does razzle-dazzle your brain, and you kind of forget yourself for a little bit, thinking, how about that? You know, life is wonderful, and can't I just do that? But even though the outside of the world always looked so, you know, exciting, something was always missing on the inside. You know, somewhere within myself, I started feeling like, you know, yes, this life is beautiful, but it isn't your life. This is this is somebody else's fortune. This is somebody else's family. This is somebody else's business. This is somebody else's joy. You are here to help with that. You are giving your life. You are giving your future. You are giving your dreams to make somebody else's life even better. And it really started resonating with me more and more. And I finally came to a point where I did my job because I knew how to do it, and because everybody needs a job and we all need a paycheck. But I did my job without feeling it, without being in it, without actually knowing that it's something I need to do. I always felt that I needed to do something more. I needed to do something better. I needed to get out there and be brave about what is it.
Yeah, because you'd already been courageous coming here. Now suddenly you're in a situation where you've got to walk away from that very thing that most people would give their eye teeth to experience. In a sense, that might have taken even more courage.
Well, thank you. Yes, courage is definitely something that sort of shows up. But at the same time, it's really interesting because once you achieve that one stage that you're after, then you get comfortable in it, then you forget that there is something else out there, right? So I woke up to that moment. I woke up to that moment one day and I said, this is just not me. This is not my life. This is not something I really want to do until the day I die. This does not fulfill me. This is not This does not define me. So I meditate.
It does not define you. That's perfect. Yes. Okay. So you have your aha moment one morning unexpectedly, even though it was probably churning in the background for a while, right? And finally it pops. What did you do?
For a long time it was there actually brewing. So this quarantine time, as difficult as it is for many people, I have to say it is it's been very fulfilling for me, because I woke up in my apartment, separated from everybody. I couldn't go to my job, and I still work full time for this wonderful small business, and people are super appreciative of the employees rather, and super supportive during this hard time. And I'm realizing, I'm still doing this job. I appreciate the people very much. I'm grateful for what I have. But this is the moment. This is the moment where the time is for me. I have the safety and security of having the paycheck, but this is the time when I need to wake up and I need to connect with others. I need to get closer to my family, to my friends, to myself, because this is the time to act on I matter. My dreams matter. My people matter. What I do, how I feel, how I connect with all the world around me matters. And what it is right now is not it. So I'm taking action. I'm taking action today.
That's so great.
So I took a computer.
So in that moment, you are lucky that you had some employment, obviously, that you could do from home to keep it going. That
Absolutely.
does definitely help. But to make the split and taking advantage, I kind of feel like we all got, sent home to our rooms to think about our lives on some level. And you did that. You took advantage of this time. And you really, well, I always say, you told one on yourself. You admitted that there was a part of you that was, I hope this doesn't sound harsh, but I say it to myself, that you were living a lie on some level that wasn't really fulfilling you.
Absolutely.
And I love that that you include everyone, and everything right now is about, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, but we have to begin caring enough to have our own life matter before we can really make a difference. So in that moment, did you know what you were going to do next, or how did that come about?
Oh, absolutely. And if I can just tap on what you just said about Black Lives Matter and all that movement just recently, it was even a bigger sort of a kick for me to go forward, because I'm sitting in my apartment in New York City on Upper West Side, which is considered to be a very safe neighborhood, right? And I have helicopter choppers just flying around my head. I have huge police trucks parking alongside Broadway, which is where my windows are looking for too. And it's a complete quiet otherwise, because it's a curfew time. And my entire being just completely was time-sucked into my communist Poland and the riots out on the street, and and the lack of human rights and the lack of the freedom and anger and violence. And all of a sudden, I've realized, oh my God, this is about connecting with people. This is about love. This is not this. We have so many reasons to divide. We have so many reasons to be angry with each other. People look for that. But we also have so much love to share with one another. And there is a way to do it. There is a way to show love and hope and the future for the kids, for the children, for people growing up. We don't need to create any more situations. So for anger and for riots, what we need right now is to share the positive energy, to create the love. I love the movement and I love the marches for the pro. I don't think something against really works. I believe something pro is much more powerful. I'm pro-love. I'm pro-hope. I'm pro-action towards better future. So this was even a bigger sort of force for me to say, my God, I have to do this. I have to act on the feeling that I have. I was pregnant a few times in life, and I was unfortunately not given to have any children, but I did have a moment of holding a 5-year-old little baby girl who is unfortunately not alive anymore for just a few moments in my hands. And that moment really made me realize how much that love and that passing from one generation to the next matters. How much what I do and don't do matters. I'm not having children. I can't have any children. But I know people that have. I have family. I have little kids in a family. I have so much love inside of me because I don't have that immediate love outlet with the children of my own. So I need to share that with people. I need to give it forward. I was so lucky with my grandparents and my parents just showering me with love. And I see how much of a difference it made in my life and my family's lives. Everybody, people feel, you feel worthy. You feel hopeful when you have someone to be there with you along the way. When you have someone to hold your hand when you need that for even if it's for 5 minutes. When you have someone to show you the way of how to do this better life. And it starts in such basic and simple levels that people many times don't realize. It starts with you. It starts with how your day is built. It starts with what you eat, how you treat your body, how you treat yourself emotionally, how you relate with the closest people to you, how you relate with people at your workplace. You create the pool of energy around you, and you attract what you are. You create the love.
Absolutely.
You create the hope.
And I love, coming from your background, what a testament to the power of love to be in a social setting such as you were that wouldn't necessarily inspire that level of love, that it was, had to be willfully funded by the people in your family that raised you. They made a choice not to let the circumstances of their society determine the quality of life in their own home. And it's powerful. And I don't blame you at all for having some flashbacks during this time. And then the fact that you turned that around and said, no, this is not how it's going to be. This is not how I'm going to be. We are going to turn this around. And I think you're absolutely right. I think the missing ingredient, if we were to say it in a word, is hope. And it's why I wanted to bring you on the show, because I'm very moved by your passion and commitment to bring love, bring hope to the forefront. So let's talk about how you do that within this wonderful new business that you've started out of all of these realizations. It's really hot off the press, which is terrific.
Yes, it is definitely hot off the press. It started just a few months ago during the quarantine time, as I mentioned. I searched, and I found a wonderful, super exciting and insightful business coach, Elise Kraft, and I'm eternally grateful. I took a couple of her courses. I'm still taking one right now. She is one of those very inspiring go-getters that we all need, in life at some point. So I started my little business, and it's called Vegable.life. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I've also just opened the YouTube channel. And through that, I would love to connect with women, with people, just to help them create that positive sort of energetic pull in their personal life, so then this can transpire into their communities, into their families, and into their communities. And what I mean by that is healthy diet, healthy fit lives and exercise, and really rewriting your life stories, your thinking. Our life stories, our beliefs are really built of something that many times, very often, is fed into us by other people, and we just take it for granted as is. We just, we don't argue, we don't question, mom says, somebody else says, so whoever has influence on us in the past just set certain standards for us that we believe must be, even though it's not something we truly believe in, and it's not something we truly, follow freely and happily. So there is a way to rewrite that, right? There is a way to connect with you. It starts small. It starts with little steps, and it builds. And then you go into the, sort of longer future outlook, and you create your life. You create your life based on, I'm healthy. I have the basics of life that I need. What else can I do now? What else? I'm happy with me.
And you've actually
found a
way to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you actually have created a 7-day fitness challenge for a group of women. I believe you're starting June 20th.
Yes.
And in the process of building a 30-day course. Talk to us about that, because now you're taking the concept, which is wonderful, but people need some brass tacks to be able to ground into something if they're going to make these sort of life changes. Share with us a little bit about what your fitness challenge is going to comprise of.
So this fitness challenge, the 7 days, it's really based on mostly fitness. So we are going to create our daily activities, starting with fitness and nutrition. I'm going to encourage to shop for clean food. We're going to build meals together. We're going to put our exercise routines based on experience, based on the goals that we have for ourselves. So therefore, it's a smaller group, so I can pay focus to every person individually. I will coach all through 7 days. There will be a Facebook group where I will post the exercises, the goals for the day, and the meals that we talked about, and inspirational quotes, and some energy building, go-getting. And then from that, we are also going to connect with our feelings and emotions, and how does that outlook into a life, this creation of sort of a new day routine, connect with how we feel. What does it open up? What that experience is actually inviting us to. Do we have time for other feelings? How do we invite other people into that routine? So it's not just me, but it is slowly building into me, my children, my parents, my friends, my community. So the 30-day challenge.
So you have that support. Okay, that
yes.
makes sense, right. Yeah, now let's talk about the 30-day.
So you basically we will be building up the support for ourselves, but then also learn how to build that support for our closest, right? So the 30-day will be the fitness, the nutrition, also organization. I believe that clean food, clean home, clean closet equals clean mind. And then the clean mind is ready to rewrite the old stories into, I am beautiful. I am worthy. I can do this. This is possible. I could lose the 10 pounds that I wanted to. I can eat healthy food, and actually, I find it delicious. It can be really good. Who knew? So,
who knew?
So, right? I mean, when we talk about nutritious food, clean food, and all this, and everybody's just rolling their eyes, going, "Oh my God, here goes the story." But I grew up with my grandparents.
Sounds so boring.
Right, it's so boring. But I grew up with my grandparents in a small village in Poland, having their own gardens and their own little farm. We didn't buy a thing that went on a table.
Wow.
Everything came from the garden. Everything came from the farm. I never forget this first incident I had when I was in elementary school. And I went to talk with other kids about, shopping and food, and a girlfriend of mine said, "Oh, my mom and I went to get some potatoes in a store." And I looked at her and I thought to myself, "What do you mean you buy potatoes in a store? Doesn't it just go outside your house?"
Wow. That's so great. Well, I want to go back to something you said that I think is really important to just highlight, which is, when you sort of clean up all the corners, what you're really doing in a sense is creating a blank slate, because, there's the concept being, how do you create something new out of something? You can only create out of nothing. How do you get to what I'll call neutral? You have to eliminate all the stuff that's clogging up your space, right? So I love that you include that in this process. So someone could, let me ask you this, they could start with your 7-day, kind of start getting their feet under them with the nutrition, with their exercise, start pulling in some people in their life that might want to do it with them, build a little support group. And then they can turn around and do your 30-day. Now they've kind of they're getting the routine going, and now they're going to start looking at the other corners, if you will, that need attention in their life. And with that support, the daily touch in with the Facebook to keep kind of the mindset going. And then are you doing like live? What else is going on there? Is there like a live touchdown every day during the 30-day? How does that work?
Yes, during the 30 days, we will do live, sort of live touchdown every day, as you said that. There is also a group on this app called Voxer, which is sort of like a walkie-talkie thing. It's very easy to connect with people. So I would be available to conversations, questions, and whatever would arise during this time. We would meet on Zoom as a group and exchange our experiences and inspire one another into what is possible for each person. And yes, taking toward those steps, and then finish on a Zoom call with revisiting the goals. Where are we? What changes have we made, and where do we want to go from here? Because all of it is a journey, right? Nothing is just a start and destination point, and then we move to something next. Everything we do in life is connected. So if we start one part of the journey, know what's ahead of us until we actually do it. And while doing the steps of that particular journey, anything can open up. Anything can open up at all, emotionally, physically. Anything is really possible. Like you said, it's you start from either clean slate, right? You clean up everything, or you can just be in a place of constant recycle. And I don't know if recycle is really something that we, that makes us happy, right? But seeing an opportunity for, seeing an opportunity for growth, seeing an opportunity for starting something anew. And hey, I'm 56. I'm starting this completely new. And I'm so freaking excited about that because I know this is what I love doing. I already do this with a lot of my friends. And I know. Yeah, well, I know what
I want to jump in too for a minute, because I think one thing I really want to point out is that people are getting really personal coaching, even though they're working with a group. The fact that you make yourself available through Voxer, which is terrific. But they also have, the group element, which is the power of stating something out loud where it is heard and held by others that are in a supportive mindset of like mind. Is exponentially powerful in terms of your ability to sort of girder your own belief in yourself. And it's a built-in accountability, which goes beyond just you. And not to mention the relationships, talk about connecting, that people will be able to do. I love that you're keeping this small. And I want to make sure people can find you. We only have a couple minutes left here. So we will put your links on, with the show on your show page. But basically, if people want to find you, they go to vegetable.life, and they will be able to connect and get involved. Okay, great. Wonderful. So, just before we go, any parting thoughts? I know you have just a well of wisdom, and we could talk for another hour. But can you sum up? What do you want to leave us with?
I just want to send this one message one more time. It is never, ever too late to start something new. It's never too late to start something you want, you crave, your passion is just jumping into every single day. Just take one step every day. Take just one little step towards what you want to do, and the sky is the limit. I promise, whatever is it that you want, it's out there, it's available, and you can have it.
That's beautiful. One little step. Well, I encourage people to take that step with you. You've definitely lived by example. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you, and I wish you the greatest success, Bea. I'm sure you'll have it, too. In closing, I really want to thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Bea is, you're so welcome. Bea is an inspiration. Look her up. I'm so grateful to her being here. Thanks to our listeners who make the show possible, our producer, the founder of Divas That Care Network, Candace Gish, who redefines a diva as a self-assured woman. And boy, I'll tell you, that's something that you can create. And that certainly has been exampled by Bea and her wonderful story. The Divas That Care Network offers women of walks of life an opportunity to share their voice in the world. Please join us. Visit divasthatcare.com. Hear more stories, and hopefully one day you'll want to add your voice to the conversation. We'd love to have you. That's it for now. Signing off until next show. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.